Good morning. It's Ann Metcalf here, conscious eating, conscious living, and it is beautiful Sunday morning, July 11th, 2021. Got a beautiful day here in sunny Sawasan, and I hope that the sun is shining everywhere where you are. If it's let your heart shine. Let that just beautiful being of you just shine through. Everybody just take a deep breath in, connect with the earth, the sky, who you are, your friends, your family. So, no, wonderful to have you here today. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for those who see this a little bit later. Today I'm going to be talking a bit about the liver and our liver function. I've been learning so much recently, and I'm just so grateful to people who have podcasts and other programs where I get to learn. And there's these summits that I've been part of, and I've been learning so much from them. And it's just sort of opened up my world, my eyes, and actually what I'm eating these days. So, and giving me different choices. And so I'm really appreciating that. I'm appreciating my body. Our bodies are it's an incredible system. Whether it's 50, 100 trillion cells, all working in this beautiful communion, collaboration, cooperation. They just weave in and out of each other. It's just incredible. And maybe there's something that we can learn as humanity, as the system of humanity, and how we can actually work together, because it's possible. And that's why we're here. Many of us are here doing that. It's peace work, the PEACE. And sometimes it's with nonprofits, helping others, helping people in your community. And when you go to the store, you just smile and radiate your light. That is a type of community work. So I'm going to start today with one of my poems. It's from my book, The Universe Calls. And it's called Our Story. On a beautiful planet tucked in a corner of our galaxy, a new potential was born, and the 12 ancestral parents watched their children grow as their ancestors had watched over them. Like them, their children, the earthlings of the earth, were gifted with many skills and abilities that would assist them to live in harmony, to create upon creation. The ultimate gift for themselves and all that is, like a newborn baby who can see our angelic ancestor. Human beings knew who they were, light beings, creator incarnate. Slowly that awareness disappeared into the eons of humanity, their God source and light forgotten. Lives, living, became busy, and like toddlers exploring everything around them, curious and in wonderment, they created whatever they wanted. Free will having been granted by their ancestral parents. A gentle nudge by loving parents helped redirect the children, assisting them to remember the divine light they really were. Wow, said some, as the memories awakened them from a deep sleep. No, said the others, I like it my way. I don't need to change. Their fear of self-preservation held strong. But those who felt their parents' wisdom and knew and felt its truth grew lovingly, compassionately, more awakened. And slowly at first, their original abilities returned. Ah, sighed the ancestral parents. The awakening ones return. So we have that free will, and we have a free will to choose what is more conscious, using our conscience and emanating that in our choices. And so now it's more about cooperating, collaborating, creating that community, especially at these times of more stress. It's even more important to take time to focus on our physical and our emotional well-being. And that's something we can all take control. We can be in control of that. We can be our own advocate. And we can listen to our innate wisdom, our intuition, not necessarily what is good for everyone, because our bodies are unique. It's like our fingerprint. So there are some foods that maybe sometimes better served for others than other foods. And that's up to you to check that out for yourself instead of listening to what everybody else is saying what you should be, should do, should eat. So pay attention to that inner voice and allow it to strengthen. It's going to go into your essence heart and just like, what is best for me to be thriving, to have that whole optimal wellness, that wow factor that I like to think about. So today, just a brief talk about the liver. I need to do a little more research on it, but it's this whole thing about the healthy gut digestion. I was reading that, if you have a leaky gut, then you've got sort of tears in that one cell thickness wall in your digestive system, your intestine, and the food goes out, and the food is supposed to go through the blood into the liver. And then it flows. You've got the lymphatic system, which I didn't realize how connected that was to the liver. And then it goes out into the blood, not in big macromolecules, but in tiny pieces of nutrients that your body knows how to use. And so I was reading in this book, it's called The Lymphatic Summit. And so I was reading this one chapter by Dr. J. Davidson, and I was going, wow, like those things I never learned in nursing school. They didn't know about them. And they've known about the lymphatic system for 400 years. And they've always thought the blood circulatory system was the most important. Well, it's time for the lymphatic system to take center stage with the blood system. I mean, because we're just this beautiful collection, the system is all synergy. It's amazing how we were put together. I just love it. So, when you've got the food gets digested, you got the leaky gut, and then you get inflammation in the gut, and then the food leaks out. You've got more toxins, more inflammation going throughout your body. And that's where you get these, some people it's arthritis, and other people it's food sensitivities or skin reactions. So there's all sorts of things that our body does, depending on kind of your makeup, what is, or maybe your weak spot. It could be, that could be part of it. And so the liver gets overloaded, and then you've got what they're finding is that there's a much higher incidence of fatty liver that used to be associated with alcoholics, but it's in kids, it's in young adults, and they're not alcoholics. So it's got nothing to do with drinking too much alcohol. It's partially from a toxic liver. It's overloaded. And that's partly because of what we're eating or what we're not eating. And the more plants and veggies that we add to our diet, the better off our digestion will be and the rest of our body. And it's sort of this comes kind of from the colon. The colon gets plugged. And according to this Dr. J, basically 2 poops a day is normal, because you're just flushing out. It means your whole system is in this fluid motion. and it's working. Everything gets digested properly. You've got enough fluids and all flowing. The liver is working. The gallbladder is working. The lymphatic system is working. And it's all just this beautiful fluid movement. But then we get the backups happening. The liver gets backed up. The bile ducts get backed up. You get more toxins going into the blood, and that causes more problems. And apparently the liver is the largest lymph producer in the body, 25 to 50%. The vessels themselves are actually active in the lymph within the lymph system. They used to think, there was only a one-way flow, and that's why you do the bouncing activities to get your lymphatic system going. Well, recent research is showing that when the lymph gets backed up, when the liver gets backed up, some of that lymph backs up into the liver. So then you get this huge detox, a sort of toxic environment happening. And the liver is the detox lifeline of the body. So when it gets plugged up, then no wonder you've got toxins being released in the body. The rest of the body's having to deal with all this foreign stuff. And it just gets, it's overwhelming. And the bile, the gallbladder, and the liver are so key to our digestion. And so that when the bile system gets backed up, toxins are shoved into the blood. As I said, you've got, along with skin issues, you've got kidney problems, lung problems. So when you've got a leaky gut, you've probably got the leaky liver. Because the whole system is connected, and then some are connecting it to a leaky brain. So maybe that's where part of the brain fog is coming from. You've got too many toxins in the brain. And one thing they found, even in the processing of the estrogen, once it's used, it's got to be eliminated from the body and sort of eliminated in the right way, or it becomes a toxin. And the other is glyphosate, which I've talked about previously in other posts. Apparently, it stops the production of you making bile, and which is not a good thing. And so the glyphosate is in a lot of our food. It's so important that we eat organic food and non-genetically engineered or GMO food. The other thing that interferes with this whole process is our parasites. And back to the gallbladder, apparently 750,000 people in the States get the gallbladder removed. It's huge, and millions of people have gallstones. And the gallstones is actually because the whole liver bile, the gallbladder liver is all backed up. So the gallstones form, and it's not the gallbladder's fault. It's the liver not being at its optimal wellness. So those of you who are contemplating getting a gallbladder out, maybe you want to get the liver toxins checked and do some kind of a liver cleanse. And so that's one sort of thought. And so there's something that was called I'll get my glasses, and Jay talks about, it's called the TUDCA, which is tauroursodeoxycholic acid, and our body makes it, but it gets impaired with all the lymph blockage. So I recommend check out Dr. J's site. It's drjdavidson.com, and he was in the Lymphatic Rescue Summit, and I have the transcript, so I get to sort of sit and read and savor it. So you might want to check that online and see if you can find it. There's a parasympathetic summit, there's a gut health summit, there's all sorts of summits going on with doctors talking about all the new research that's going on. So Dr. Joe Pizzarno, the toxin solution, something I've said been reading and sort of trying out adding more flaxseed and to help bulk up clean out the colon, because it's food backs up, and if it doesn't get cleaned out properly, then you got this sludge forming, and you need to get that out because the whole system needs to be flowing, the circulation between the blood and the lymphatic system. We need to get things fluid and moving. So anyway, I may come back and talk a little bit more about this whole liver lymph connection, because it's so important. And there's all sorts of other systems in our body that assist with that whole optimum wellness so that we can be thriving. And we've got the energy and the youthfulness to carry on for decades because our bodies can. We are meant to live a long time. So with that being said, I'm going to just, before I close, I've got my Manifest Your Magnificence cards. And as always, you check out my new app. It's Authentic Sacred Design. And there you'll find all sorts of articles, videos on health, gut health, muscle testing, all sorts of things. And so I invite you to join me in the app, creating a couple of new tracker books that will be coming hopefully in the next few weeks. And you just make comments on them, pass them forward, and just kind of have fun and be active in, just your learning and your everyday, of course, always be active. So Manifest Your Magnificence. Let's see, purple card today. It says, I am potential. I go with the flow to expand my horizons. And so go with the flow, expand your horizons today and as you move forward, because we are all pure potential. And if we're willing to and just embrace that, the potentials, the possibilities, when we say yes to things. Somebody recommended watching Jim Carrey, Yes Man, where he had to say yes to everything. And it just, all of a sudden, doors opened. And he just had great fun. I mean, he learned eventually, it's important to say no sometimes. But anyway, it's a fun movie to watch. And this one says, I am open to receiving. Because when you make those choices, open those doors, things will come to you. So be open to the receiving. And when people give you things, and if it's just a simple smile or a thank you, then you say thank you. And that is just receiving. So until we meet again, if you have any questions, you can always contact me at rosiesjoy11@gmail.com. I look forward to chatting with you on my Facebook page, and I am going to be starting a new Facebook group called Conscious Eating, Conscious Living, so that these conversations, information that you and I can share. So until we meet again, namaste, and thank you so much.